welcome everybody here today, and what we want to do is highlight our agenda that's coming up this next legislative session. But first I want to mention what a successful legislative session we had last year. Again, continuing our streak of having conservative legislation passed in South Carolina, and some of the most conservative legislation we've had over the past few decades. So I want to highlight for you, as y'all know, the wins we had in 2025 was our historic tax cuts, which is in the Senate. We secured our energy future, something that we're all proud of here. And I was in Washington, D.C. over last week, and with the Trump administration, they were highlighting this bill and our efforts of what we're doing with energy in South Carolina, passing the Small Business Regulatory Relief Act, which we are trying to get rid of some of the 82,000 regulations that interfere with businesses, both small and large, across the state of South Carolina. We also prioritize, and we will continue to prioritize, public safety. Last year, passing fentanyl, retail theft, and internet crimes, and a lot of statutes affecting the safety of children. We passed again school choice for the second time, and that is in effect and is moving forward and seeing great results right now. I want to emphasize that we're going to continue to have a working relationship with our colleagues in the Senate and with Government Master, and also now that we have the Trump administration in place, they are partnering with us in how we're moving legislative agendas forward and legislation. As I said, Senator Alexander and myself were up there, President Alexander and myself were up in D.C. last week talking about common things that we could pass and join, and working with the administration. And the thing that I found most rewarding was a number of the things items that they mentioned we had already accomplished in South Carolina. And I think we were one of the few states who can really take a victory lap on being ahead of the curve instead of behind it. And so I look forward to us continuing to push an agenda that brings South Carolina into the 21st century, that promotes jobs and prosperity in South Carolina, and that's going to be our focus as we move forward. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our majority leader and get him to begin to explain the legislative legislative agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First off, Merry Christmas. As we end this 2025 season, as we begin 2026, we had our caucus meeting today. You're in the room where we just finished our caucus meeting to get us ready for 2026. And I will say that we are 69 members strong. We had a great caucus meeting. We had a great discussion, great input from all of our members. And we're excited about the things that Speaker Smith's already spoken about, what we accomplished last year. But we're really excited about what we're going to do in 2026 to make South Carolina the greatest place to live and work. A couple of things that we want to talk about, the results of months of work. Speaker Smith, at the end of last session, Speaker Smith said, we got a lot of work to do. We don't want to take any time off, even though we're not in session. We want to continue the ball rolling to make sure that when we come back in January 2026, we're ready to go. So he appointed some ad hoc committees that have been working hard throughout the off season, and you probably covered some of those in your work. And but we've seen some folks do a lot of good work. We have a Faith and Family Committee, Representative Yao and Representative Jay Jordan. I think some of them are here, some of them had to get out, but they've done some work to bring some family issues to us, to bring some issues to our caucus that you'll see in 2026. Of course, we had the South Carolina DOT Ad Hoc Committee and the Insurance Rate Review Committee. I want to stand here today and simply say thank you to all you folks that participated in that. There's a lot of work, a lot of traveling, a lot of meetings, a lot of note taking, and we know that come January of 2026, you're going to have a bill ready for us to take a look at, and hopefully we'll be able to do something with it as soon as we get back there. The focus of this caucus and Speaker Smith's leadership is that we want to listen to all South Carolinians. No matter what the issues are, we want to hear from all South Carolinians. And so we believe that these ad hoc committees, the individual members who've gone back to their communities and who've had town halls and who've had one-on-one conversations have all come back and said, hey, look, these people appreciate listening, to us listening. And that's where we are. We want to make sure that we hear from all South Carolinians. We've got one of the fastest growing states in the nation. Got a lot of folks moving here. And so we want to hear from everybody. Our districts are changing, and so we have to step out there and make sure that we hear from our revamped districts and make sure that we're doing what's right. But we will, Assistant Majority Leader Brandon Newton's going to come speak in just a minute on individual pieces of legislation and different topics, but we are prepared, we are ready to go for 2026. We know the holidays are here, and I'm encouraging all of our members, plus all of you folks out there with the cameras, to take a few moments out of your busy lives and enjoy the Christmas season. Because once January gets here, you know what happens. You don't have much time to stand around and look and talk and have a fellowship and those kind of things. But I encourage you to do that because we understand that South Carolina is a great place to live and work. But we also understand that our families and the things that we do with them are more important than anything we do politically. So I just simply say thank you, Merry Christmas, and at this time I want to introduce Assistant Majority Leader Brandon Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. First off, thank you all for being here, and thank you for a great day from our caucus as we begin to look forward to the upcoming legislative session. This year, we have a mission statement, and you can see it on the board in front of me, but everything we do is going to revert back to this. Our mission is going to be to fulfill these targets, which is fighting for freedom, families, and a more affordable South Carolina. And you're going to see this caucus take on this issue every day with multiple pieces of legislation that fall under this mission statement. And our commitments: freedom to defend the Constitution, hold government accountable, and uphold law and order; families, protect children, empower parents, and uphold the values and safety of our communities; affordability, we're going to cut taxes, eliminate inefficiencies, and make South Carolina a place families can build their future; and roads, we're going to fix roads by cutting red tape and demanding transparency to reduce congestion, move projects faster, deliver safer communities for everyday South Carolinians. And so you're going to see lots of pieces of legislation move this year, and they're all going to fit under this mission as we move forward. With that, be happy to take individual questions. We might have people here who are more experts on individual pieces of legislation if you have them, but happy to take some quick questions.
On the roads bill, Representative Eric, you all have been working on it. I know that the plan is to have those first two meetings the first week of session. Would you imagine that's going to be the first big debate of the year, the first major piece of legislation?
I have not seen it on a scale. I have not seen the bill yet fully written. We're still working on that. We had a deadline last week for members to send in input. Once we get a better shell of a bill that's growing in size every day, we'll know how fast we can actually bring it to debate. But I hope it's one of the first things we're able to take up for the people. Yes.
Speaker Smith, on this list of items for 2026, we don't see much about redistricting. Can you just address redistricting and that debate that's been going on nationwide and of course here in the state, how that plays out?
Well, we're here to talk about the agenda here, so that's a issue that obviously there's been discussions with the governor and the Senate leaders, and we're trying to work our way through the process, so I'm not going to comment on it right now.
Have you got any contact from the White House or the administration about this issue?
Have I?
Yeah.
No.
Have you done the analysis?
Huh?
Have you done any kind of analysis of what it would take to get a 7-0 map?
No. Let me just say, there's processes in play, and we can discuss that in January, but this is not, and we're here today for this agenda and not on redistricting. So you can direct those questions to the others as well.
I see that on here, last year, obviously, tort reform and liquor liability was a huge conversation. And I think there was a part about insurance reforms, but could you speak more to like liquor liability? I know you guys got a bill passed, but there were some who said there's work still to be done. So what can you kind of say about moving forward? Are you kind of holding off to see what will happen?
No, I think the more to be done was they had Senate 244, which had medical malpractice reform, which had home builder liability and some other issues. And I think Chairman Newton is not here today, but he would tell you that he has been holding hearings on those issues, and he intends to start moving legislation when we get back in session.
I saw some interesting language about the DEI bill, about partnering with the Senate to complete the DEI overhaul. And I remember that bill ended in a 4A activity at the end of session. It looked one way, then it changed to another way. We've already seen some headwinds in the Senate previously, and just wondering what those discussions have looked like, what a bill might actually come out looking like.
We're pretty confident the Senate's going to take up this bill. They have been giving out good feelers, and we're hopeful to get a piece of legislation over the finish line this year.
Do you think that like any of the moves by the Trump administration have made any efforts in state redundant, or do you still think that we need a bill at the state level?
I think we need a bill at state level because we need to support the actions that President Trump's administration has done by allowing us to do many things we previously couldn't have done through this piece of legislation from the Biden administration.
Senator Alexander pre-filed a race-based quota bill. Will there be another version in the House, or will you just let the Senate take a look?
Yeah, I would presume we'll be there. We have discussed that with President Alexander, and the issue of why he's done that is obviously state agencies are caught in between state law and federal law, and so what we want to do is align with federal law and what the United States Supreme Court has ruled on that issue. So that's the reason why we are doing this, and I think that to answer the last question about the DEI bill, I think that's some of the reason why we need to give instructions to the state agencies and the universities that what law they need to follow, because they're caught in between two conflicts right now.
Speaking of universities, accountability and tenure, I know that plenty of people have advocated for eliminating it. What does that look like? Is it more of just like a renewal process, or just like eliminating tenure entirely?
It does not eliminate tenure completely. It codifies a lot of the practices that we actually collected from our universities and our colleges. A lot of them have programmatic systems in place for all of their staff and faculty. We also looked at other states and who'd been successful. The Ohio bill that passed, there's a North Carolina proposal. We looked at a lot of those things along with working with Clemson and Carolina specifically on some of the work that they've done. There's a bill that will be pre-filed that gives steps and codifies the most normalized, if you will, steps in hiring and firing practices. That is kind of the norm for most of our universities, but it makes it law and makes it uniform.
So if colleges are already doing it, why codify it?
They're not all the same. And I think uniformity of expectations is something really important when you're working in a public university.
And Chairwoman, can you talk about charter school accountability and what we're seeing in terms of do we need to strengthen that and what you all might be doing this session?
The Senate has the charter school reform bill, and Senator Hembry will be, I hope, taking that up relatively soon. The goal is to receive that bill, take a look at what they were successful in adding, taking a look at the LAC report that we've all gotten, and see where we need to add or change. Hopefully it'll be great, it'll be wonderful, and we'll just move it along, but we're going to take it one step at a time.
Maybe one or two more questions. I know the members have a long way to travel back. So.
On income taxes, how close do y'all think you can get to zero?
Well, I think when the bill's fully implemented, it will be zero. I don't think we're head faking on that. Our goal is to get the income tax rate to zero, and that's what the legislation we passed last year does.
Think there might be room to get it accelerated a little bit? Or?
Absolutely. I think our record speaks for itself. We had a 5-year reduction that we did in 3 years, and so our record speaks for itself that we can expedite any tax cut for the citizens of this state because we're economically so successful here.
Last question. Should we expect to see any changes in the GOP caucus, Freedom Caucus relationship in the coming session?
Look, I would say, look, we are willing to work with anybody who aligns with our mission statement that we have here today. Happy to do that, but what we want to focus on is our mission statement, which is fighting for freedom, families, and a more affordable South Carolina. If someone wants to join us with that, we're happy to have them.
Well, then I'll throw one out because we have pause. Senator Massey has made it clear that one of the Senate's big priorities is going to be DUI reform. Obviously, there are a lot of lawyers in the General Assembly. I think anyone's going to expect a fight, but are you all going to also prioritize that in the House?
Yes, we've been working with the Senate in that regard, and they're going to take lead on that issue. And Chairman Newton and a number of others on Judiciary have been working on that issue as well, and it's going to be a priority of theirs.